Ever feel like, I don't you're really giving it your all at work? You're hitting all those targets, checking off the boxes, but then
Something still feels off.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like those numbers don't quite tell the whole story.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive on that very feeling, that disconnect. We're looking at it through, get this, a Deloitte UK employee review,
Deloitte, huh?
straight from last November, November 2023 to be exact. And it's fascinating, really. It's from a consultant recently laid off.
Oh, recently laid off. Okay, so this is coming from like a real place, though.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just some theoretical, think piece.
Yeah.
This is about the reality that even when you're doing well, sometimes, well, job security.
Isn't so secure.
Sadly, yeah.
I'm intrigued. What's the story here?
So this consultant, right, they were consistently hitting 90% utilization for 2 years.
Whoa, 90%.
That's someone who's in demand, a valuable asset,
You'd think so, yeah.
and yet let go.
Wow. Okay, so that's quite the disconnect right off the bat. High performer, shown by the numbers even, but still let go.
And you know what makes it even more interesting? The advice this consultant gives to Deloitte's management:
Let's hear it. What do they say?
use data to make redundancy decisions.
Oh, the irony.
Right.
It's like everyone thinks data is this neutral judge, that it'll bring fairness to these tough calls.
Yeah, like just follow the numbers, everything will be fine.
But as we're seeing with this consultant's experience, data is only as good as the story it tells. And sometimes it's only telling a very specific, very limited part of the story.
Totally.
Mm.
And it makes me think about all the stuff we don't see in a simple utilization rate. Like, what was the team dynamic like? What about the less quantifiable contribution someone makes?
Right. The stuff that's harder to measure, but still so important.
And, the consultant also mentioned a difficult onboarding experience. And get this, they said that internal politics at Deloitte seem to actually, sometimes, matter more than actual performance.
Oh, there's that human element again. You can't escape office politics, even at a place like Deloitte.
It makes you wonder, was this layoff really just about the numbers? Or were there other things going on behind the scenes that, the data just doesn't show us?
Exactly. And that's where this whole data-driven narrative starts to fall apart, you know? Because if you're only looking at those metrics, utilization rates, without really understanding what's happening within teams, the individual contributions, the company culture as a whole,
You missed the bigger
you
picture.
miss the bigger picture, and you end up with situations just like this, high performers feeling disillusioned, undervalued, and ultimately.
Expendable.
Yeah.
It's a good reality check for anyone who thinks that just working hard and hitting targets is enough.
It really is, because clearly there's more to it than that.
It makes you wonder, how can you really get a sense of a company's culture? Beyond the marketing, the stats they put out there.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And unfortunately, there's no easy answer. You have to dig a little deeper, ask the right questions.
Like what? What kind of questions should people be asking?
Well, when you're talking to people inside the organization, don't just stick to the script. Ask about their day-to-day. How supported do they feel? Do they see a future there? Those kinds of things tell you more than any mission statement.
It's almost like you have to become a corporate detective or something, right? Gather the clues, read between the lines.
A bit. Yeah, it takes some effort.
But I think what this consultant's story really highlights is, as important as data is, you can't let it replace empathy, real human understanding.
100%. Data should inform decisions, sure, but it shouldn't be the only voice in the room.
Because behind every data point is a person, right? With their own experiences, their own aspirations.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that both employees and leaders need to keep at the forefront.
It's a two-way street then.
Absolutely. For employees, it's a good reminder that your worth isn't just in the numbers you generate. Build those relationships. Advocate for your own growth. Don't just assume the data will speak for you.
And for leaders, it's about remembering that data is a tool. It's not the be-all and end-all.
Exactly. Use it wisely, use it ethically, and never forget the human impact of your decisions. Because a healthy company culture, that's not built on numbers alone.
That's a really good point to end on, actually.
Yeah.
In a world that's increasingly driven by data, how do we make sure we're not losing sight of the human element?
It's a question we all need to be asking ourselves, I think, regardless of our role, where we work, or what the data might say.
Couldn't have said it better myself.